All praises to Yahawah. All praises to Yahawashi. All praises for the Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone that have been and continue to teach the true gospel. Salute to the Akim, spreading the true gospel on the streets and lanes of the city, on the highways and hedges, and on the World Wide Web. Much love to the Ma'akwath, who learn science with all subjection and are in righteous order under the men of YAHAWAH Yahawashi. This is the brother Raza from the Church of Philadelphia camp. And hey, the Lord just put in my spirit, going through what many of the hopeful elect are going through right now, how we are supposed to respond and receive these things, Again, whether it's Esau thinking that they are in control of something, or your woman thinking she's in control of something, or other people in your family thinking they're in control of something because they take away something from you. What Esau Edom is talking about, taking away your livelihood, right? Your woman taking away your family, right? So-called other people, taking away friendships, right? Taking away, so-called networks of this world, right? They thinking they're putting you in forever straits, right? But in reality, it's temporary. Sure, they got the power to do so, but again, if you're a righteous man of the Lord, you know that the Lord is going to put you through these tests, and that you're going to suffer. Bottom line, you're going to suffer. And as we read the prophets of old, they suffered, and they suffered mightily. So what little bit we go through, hey, how are we supposed to respond and react? Because they want us to lose faith. They want us to lose faith. They want us to lose face. They want us to bow down and beg, right? But at the end of the day, or fear, right? Or fear their repercussions, right? And acknowledge their power. But at the end of the day, the Lord just have to put a mighty spirit on you to just reject it and count it all joy. Because that's the suffering that the Lord is putting you through. He's trying you and refining you. Right? And so that people can be a witness to your faith and your faithfulness. Because, hey, people think that their kingdom, Esau Edom thinks his kingdom is going to last forever. And is thinking that when he comes down having great wrath, then, hey, the people are just going to bow down. And, hey, 2/3 will. But the true men of the Lord won't. And that's a small number. But it's a mighty sanctuary. Hey, just like I poured out when the Lord, was talking about that's too many men. Right? And they went from over like 30,000 to 300. Right? So the elect is a small number compared to the, to the rest of the population of the Israelites. Right? But the Lord doesn't deal in large numbers. The Lord deals in small numbers to show his might, because it's of him. So we don't boast and think we did something, right? And start pounding our chest, because that's Jake's spirit, right? Hey, and just like right now, right? When we going through something, hey, the Lord's going to put us where we can't do anything but call on the name of Yahawashi. If you're smart, right? And if you got the spiritual eye soft, understanding what is happening to you is not a coincidence. It's because you're calling on the name of Yahawashi. And people want you to stop preaching in that name. Right? When demons jump on our people, they don't even want to hear a scripture. but call themselves so-called Christians, but don't want to hear a scripture. But enough of me, Bab. Let's get in this precept. This is the book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 40. And to him they agreed. And this is one of the Pharisees, right? Because Peter was preaching in the name of Yahawashi, and they told him to stop. He says, stop preaching in that name. Hey, but what did Peter say? That we ought to obey God rather than man, right? It says, the God of our father, whom you slew and hanged on a tree, right? Hey, we're going to obey him because we've seen his mighty works, right? But they didn't want them. It says, but Peter, let me get it. Matter of fact, it says, then Peter and the other apostle answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men, right? Because that's what the apostles were preaching. They were preaching in the name of Yahawashi. And the Pharisees didn't like it, right? Some of them, right? Can't say all of them. But this is what Peter and the other apostles said. So when it came time for their so-called judgment from the Pharisees, one of the Pharisees tried to tell them, hey, careful what you do to these men. Pharisee named Gamaliel, right? Careful, because what you're going to be doing is fighting against Yahweh, right? And so, because they wanted to put him to death, because they already warned him to stop preaching in the name, right? So that's why it says, and to him they agreed. They agreed with Gamaliel, right? And when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahawashi and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. So they rejoiced that they got beat, right? That they suffered shame for the name of Yahawashi. And that's what these people want us to do. They want us to suffer shame for preaching the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi Bahashem Rakakadash. Well, guess what? Shame it is. Because the men of the Lord are going to suffer. And we're expected to suffer it. That's why we build up this foundation to be able to withstand your so-called shaming, your so-called persecution. Because at the end of the day, we know you have no power except it be given to you. And so we are calling on our true power, the one and only living power, right? To protect us, to guide us. Because we run into him because he's the strong tower. You got all types of witchcraft and all types of snares and traps set up for us. We know this. But the one that's giving you your little bit of power, we're calling on his name. Because we don't fear your shame or your shaming. We don't fear you assassinating our character. You're supposed to do that. You're a damn devil. You're the devil that the Bible speaks of. Because you suffer. You try to put the true prophets in a heavy place, right? To be public enemy number one, as I was told, that I'm public enemy number one. Well, so be it. It says, and they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing. So after they had been beaten and shamed, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for the name of Yahweh Bahashem. And daily in the temple and in every house they ceased not to teach and preach Yahawashi Hamashiach. Hamashiach Yahawashi. And just like I pray, Lord puts a mightier spirit on me to continue this journey. Because it's only going to be of him. To continue putting up these videos. To continue going on the streets and lanes of the city, on the highways and hedges. To continue going to classes with brothers. And learning. To show myself approved. You know? That's what it's about. Because we're going to be shamed. We're going to be ostracized. We're going to be isolated. We're going to be all those things. We're going to be called all types of accusations, right? Because of the name that we're preaching in. Because of the doctrine, the true doctrine that we have. Because this, it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. But you see Esau, Edom, and other heathen nations, they doing all types of carnal stuff to us. Right? But we should count it all joy. We should rejoice for the shame that we suffer in the name of Yahawashi. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're getting shamed. We're being persecuted at an all-time high. And it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. So that little bit you're going through now, no, it's going to get worse. Because the devil is coming down knowing that he have but a short time. That means our salvation. And this is the hopeful year of our salvation. And the destruction of Esau, Edom, and his kingdom. Roughly paraphrasing. So, hey, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. Until next time, shalom.